Good morning and welcome to another Hits Family Adventure. Today we are at our home park, Six Flags Over Texas. It's just me, Melody, and one of her friends. But it's been about 6 years since we've been here. So let's go! And that's where it ends. So today is August the 2nd, 2025, and we went to Six Flags Over Texas on Thursday, July 31st. And these are my thoughts on the park after not going for over 8 years. So, growing up in the 80s and the early 90s, our family vacations were going to Wet n Wild one day, the next day going to Six Flags, and the next day after that go to the Ranger games. That's what my dad and mom planned every single year. And so, as a kid, that's what I looked forward to. I really remember this back in 1990 when they built the Texas Giant. I would just flock to the TV and just get immersed in it every time a commercial would come on for the new Texas Giant. I'm just so excited. I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait for it to come out. And that's how exciting it was, back in the 80s and 90s. Well, then, grew up and everything. And then, going back as a, young adult and stuff back in the early 2000s and stuff, go to the park and it was going straight downhill, 100%. It would seem like the rides were being neglected. They stopped the shows. They didn't have that many shows anymore, and the buildings were just so bad, like just flat out ugly. And it just kept going downhill year after year after year, and so we hadn't been. I think like 2018, 2019 or something like that was the last time that we went. It just wasn't enjoyable as it used to be growing up. I mean, because the park back then was amazing. Like as a child, Six Flags was amazing. The type of shows that they put on. They had the Batman stunt show, and then they had some kind of Western stunt show, and then the concerts that they put. I remember going to a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles concert at Six Flags. Flat out amazing. That's what the 80s and 90s were. But it's like, the millennium hit, and then everything just went away. But over the last few years, I've got into, watching YouTube and stuff. And, as a kid, I always wanted to be a roller coaster enthusiast. And so I watch a lot of, roller coaster videos and vlogs of people going. And you can see, like, over the last few years that they have really started putting money into the park. So, slowly over time. And then now they're going to get a Giga Dive coaster. And you can see what Six Flags is doing to their very first park. So we went and we wanted to check it out. I'm just now getting into, making YouTube videos. I'm just doing it just for fun, just to give me something to do. If I get a lot of subscribers, that is awesome. If I don't, that's okay. And one of the reasons why I'm doing it is to actually be able to save our memories. Because, it's not like, back in the days when you had a videotape or you had your pictures printed. So this is just a way of me saving our memories. So as we get older and as our kids get older, then there is a place that you can go and you can watch these. So that's the reason why I'm doing it. But on that note, we get to Six Flags I record the intro and get ready to go up to walk through security, and they stop me. They tell me I cannot bring my camera in. I have the Osmos Pocket 3, and they told me I couldn't bring it in because it was a GoPro on a stick, which, I don't get it, but I mean, it is what it is. But, I know that there are several YouTubers that use this camera that take it into the park. But, I mean, right now I'm trying to reach out to the park and, get clarification on it, because it's nowhere in their policies whatsoever. In their policies, all it says is that you cannot film on the rides, you can't bring in a selfie stick, or you can't have a monopod. I really don't even know what that is, but I know I don't have it. So I'm trying to reach out to them and get clarification to see, because I would really love, to go to the park, often to, check on the updates and report them back to people if they want to hear about it. So I tried recording some videos on my phone, but when we went, it was so dang hot. Anytime that I started trying to record, my phone would overheat. So I couldn't use that. Now, it is what it is with a camera. If I can't bring it in, I can't bring it in. I'll find a different way to do it right. I want to try to form a rapport with the parks, so that maybe sometimes we can get invited out. I don't know. You never know. And there's only one other negative aspect of our visit that we had. So we bought the new season passes, and we bought the drink, all season drink add-on. In 2026, they are going away from the season cups, and they're going straight to paper cups. And so when you buy your add-on, it says for the remainder of 2025 through 2026. So I'm like, great. So we go to get our first drinks, and there's an issue. They don't know if we're supposed to get the season cup, or if they're supposed to do the paper cup. They had no clue, but the guy was really nice. He told me to go to customer service to get it worked out. So I go up there. The guy at the customer service, he didn't know what to do. And so he's asking, and, they're telling him that we're supposed to get the season cups. And, he's like, are you sure? And yeah. So he takes me to one of the drink stands, and they try to figure it out. But what it is that you're supposed to start using the paper cups now, but nobody knows that. So he works it out. We get our drinks. About an hour so later, we go to get more drinks. The same issue. Every time that we got a drink, it took about 10 to 15 minutes for us to actually get our drinks, because nobody knew. I understand. We bought our season. They released the season passes on Wednesday, and we went on Thursday. It's new. There's going to be problems, and that's a given. But I mean, it's really not a negative, because I understand. But it all worked out in the end. So hopefully the next time we go, then they got it all worked out. But now on to all the positives. I mean, I could not be more pleased to where the park is today compared to what it was 8 years ago. It is a completely different park. The buildings, the cleanliness of it is 100 times better than what it was our last visit. I mean, it's like, the Southern Palace, they are, renovating that. Hopefully they will bring back the shows, because that's another thing is there's really no place to go right now to sit inside the air conditioner when it's hot as crud outside, except for if you go to eat. So, it's like back in the day, the Majestic Theater always had a show. The Southern Palace had a show. And I think somewhere else they did, but I can't remember. So, but what, they are doing to the buildings, the bright colors are being brought back. The staff was so friendly. Every issue that we had, the staff member that we ran into was overly nice, and they were overly apologetic. And so that's the reason why it wasn't a big issue to me. And it looks like the rides are being kept up. And, the way it looks, they're going to be adding new rides. So overall, our experience was amazing. We had fun. It was me, Melody, and one of her friends. And we had a blast. Honestly, I was only going to go there for a few hours and then come home. But we were having such a great time that we stayed until almost close. That's another thing. I wish that they would stay open later because, as a child, they would open up at 10 and then close at 10, and we would open the park up and shut the park down because there's nothing like night rides on some of these roller coasters. I really wish that they would bring it back. It's like another good thing is that, I guess with it being so hot, people didn't want to go. So pretty much every ride was a walk-on or a station wait. We only had to wait for a few rides. We had Runaway Mountain. We had to wait about 30 minutes. The girls were riding the Riddler, and it actually had a pretty decent wait. And then when it was their turn, they had to shut the ride down. So they waited about 30 minutes or maybe 40 minutes, and then they shut the ride down. I actually thought it was pretty funny. But other than that, it was awesome. We pretty much rode everything that we wanted to ride. Got, multiple rides on some of them. And, but overall, we had a great time. Good job, Six Flags. I am happy to be a past member. Extremely happy to be a past member, and we will be coming often. Well, thank y'all for watching. If you made it to the end, please like and subscribe and comment. Comment on the park. Tell me, what you like, what you don't like. It would really, really help us out. Thank you again. We'll see you next time.